The Vatican cover-up? Pope Francis's real story will leave you speechless. What if the Vatican, the heart of the Catholic Church, is hiding a secret so profound it could shake the foundations of faith? Imagine a story about Pope Francis, his past, his decisions, and whispers of a cover-up that's been buried in shadows. Get ready to uncover the truth behind the man leading 1.4 billion Catholics, a tale so gripping you'll be hooked until the final word. Buckle up, because this is the real story of Pope Francis, and it's nothing like you've heard before. If you're as curious as I am about unraveling mysteries, smash that like button, share this with your friends, and hit subscribe to dive deeper into stories that matter. Let's make this go viral! The Enigma of Pope Francis. Who is Jorge Bergoglio? Born Jorge Mario Bergoglio in Buenos Aires, Argentina, in 1936, Pope Francis became the 266th Pope in 2013, the first Jesuit and the first from the Americas. Known for his humility, living in a modest apartment, shunning lavish papal attire and championing the poor, Francis has been a breath of fresh air for many. His calls for climate action, interfaith dialogue, and reform have earned him global admiration. But beneath the surface, questions linger. Is there more to his story? Are there secrets the Vatican doesn't want you to know? Rumors of a cover-up tied to Francis often swirl on platforms like X, from his role during Argentina's dirty war to his handling of church scandals. This video explores these claims, sticking to verified facts and avoiding speculation to uncover the truth about Pope Francis. The Dirty War, a shadow. Over Bergoglio's past. One of the most persistent questions about Francis stems from his time as a Jesuit leader in Argentina during the 1970s, under a brutal military dictatorship. Between 1976 and 1983, Argentina's Dirty War saw up to 30,000 people killed or disappeared. Critics have asked, did Bergoglio, then provincial superior of the Jesuits, do enough to protect those targeted by the regime? In 1976, two Jesuit priests, Orlando Yorio and Franz Jalic, were kidnapped and tortured after working in Buenos Aires' slums, areas the regime viewed as subversive. Some accused Bergoglio of failing to shield them, even suggesting he withdrew Jesuit protection, exposing them to danger. These claims resurfaced in 2013 when he became Pope, with posts on X amplifying the story as a Vatican cover-up. The truth? Both priests were released after 5 months, and Jalic later reconciled with Bergoglio, stating in 2013 that he held no grudge. Bergoglio himself testified in 2010 that he worked behind the scenes to secure their release, meeting with junta leaders to plead for mercy. Documents from the Vatican and Argentine archives, declassified in recent years, show Bergoglio quietly aided dissidents, hiding them in Jesuit properties. Still, critics argue he could have been more vocal against the regime, a charge that fuels debate today. The Vatican's scandals. Francis as reformer or enabler. Since taking office, Francis has faced a church rocked by scandals, particularly clergy abuse and financial mismanagement. His handling of these issues has sparked both praise and accusations of a cover-up. Let's break it down. Clergy abuse crisis. The Catholic Church's abuse scandal has haunted it for decades, with thousands of victims across the globe. Francis vowed to root out abuse, creating the Pontifical Commission for the Protection of Minors in 2014 and holding a 2019 summit on the issue. He's defrocked hundreds of priests and in 2021 reformed church law to criminalize abuse cover-ups explicitly. Yet critics point to missteps. In 2018, Francis initially defended Chilean Bishop Juan Barros, accused of covering up abuse, dismissing victims' claims as slander. After an investigation, he apologized, admitting errors, and accepted Barros's resignation. Some X-posts claim the Vatican suppressed victim testimonies to protect its image, but no evidence supports this. Instead, Francis's actions, like meeting victims and pushing transparency, suggest a commitment to reform, though his early misjudgments fed skepticism. Financial mismanagement. The Vatican's finances have also raised eyebrows. In 2020, a scandal erupted over a $400 million London property deal with allegations of fraud and embezzlement. Francis responded by stripping the Secretariat of State of Financial Control, centralizing oversight, and ordering trials. In 2023, a Vatican court convicted several figures, including a cardinal in a landmark case. Some online narratives frame this as a cover-up, alleging Francis shielded top officials. But the trials, unprecedented in Vatican history, show accountability. Francis's push for audits and cooperation with international regulators has been praised by groups like Moneyval, Europe's anti-money laundering watchdog. The Jesuit Pope, a radical or a mask? Francis's Jesuit roots shape his papacy. Jesuits are known for intellectual rigor and social justice, and Francis embodies this with his focus on poverty, migrants, and the environment. His 2015 encyclical Laudato Si called for urgent climate action, while his 2020 document Fratelli Tutti championed global solidarity. These moves have won hearts but also enemies, especially among conservative Catholics who see him as too progressive. Rumors of a cover-up often tie to his reforms. Some ex-users claim Francis is hiding a liberal agenda to reshape the Church, pointing to his openness to divorced Catholics receiving communion, or his outreach to LGBTQ+ communities. Yet these shifts align with his public stance on mercy over dogma, and he's upheld core Church teachings like opposing same-sex marriage. No evidence suggests a hidden conspiracy. His actions are transparent, if divisive. The Vatican's silence. Why the secrecy narrative persists. So why do cover-up stories about Francis thrive? The Vatican's historically opaque culture doesn't help. For centuries, it operated behind closed doors, fueling mistrust. Francis has tried to change this, live streaming events and publishing financial reports. But old habits die hard. When the Vatican delays responses to scandals or limits access to archives, it sparks speculation. Social media amplifies this. Ex-posts often exaggerate claims, like alleging Francis hid dirty war ties or silenced abuse victims, without proof. These narratives gain traction because they tap into distrust of institutions. But digging into primary sources, like Vatican statements or Argentine records, shows a more complex picture. Francis as a leader navigating a 2,000-year-old institution through modern crises. The global impact. Francis's legacy in question. Francis's papacy has reshaped the Church's image. His visits to conflict zones like Iraq in 2021 and his interfaith work, like signing a 2019 peace declaration with Muslim leaders, have made him a global figure. He's drawn 1.4 billion Catholics closer to social issues, with 70% approving of his leadership in a 2023 Pew Research poll. But the cover-up narrative risks overshadowing this. If critics focus on unproven conspiracies, they may miss his real impact, reforming a church grappling with modernity. His missteps, like the Barrows case, show he's human, not a conspirator. His reforms, from abuse policies to financial transparency, suggest a leader confronting problems, not hiding them. The cover-up rumors may never fully fade, but the evidence paints Francis as a reformer, not a schemer. His story is less about secrets and more about a man steering a complex institution through turbulent times. Your turn. What's the real story? We've peeled back the layers of Pope Francis's journey, from Argentina's dark days to the Vatican's bright spotlight. Is he hiding a grand secret, or is he a leader misunderstood? The truth lies in the facts, not the rumors, and it's more compelling than any conspiracy. What do you think? Has Francis been unfairly targeted, or is there more to uncover? Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell me what topic you want to explore next. Hit like, share with your crew, and subscribe to stay in the know. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.